you guys and share some of my experiences and bring you a session which is, there's only one word to describe, which is experience. My name is Dr. Zsuzsanna, and this wonderful man, Mr. Zsuzsanna, we found each other through the universe, and now I am here. So it is an extreme great pleasure to meet all of you, and I don't like to blabber too much about me, so we made a little 2-minute video about what I do. So if it's okay with you, I would like to play that video for you, so it's easier for you to know what I do and who I am. Thank you. I think I better go to school for this. Anybody on YouTube can give me a course on how to drive a donkey? Oh, it's going! It's going! Oh, okay. Come on, donkey. Sneeze off. Oh, yeah! I never imagined living in Pakistan and a Facebook friend made that happen for me. I've always enjoyed challenges in my life, but I realized that life without meaning isn't life at all. I help people today to make changes in their lives and building a new generation. So I'm helping here to build health and lifestyle, bring lifestyle for alternative treatment for doctors, and establishing sporting culture. Secondly, working on coaching and inspiration. I conduct corporate trainings to build strong human value-based team into organizations for superior management, and largely I run public events at universities and youth programs inspiring students to break their fears and to be the entrepreneurs of their lives. The third area is hypergrowth through social media. This includes bringing mobile technology into education and public health and helping people to be micro-entrepreneurs. Supertech Foundation is the key sponsor of my work, and I'm working with them eradicating poverty and educating people all around Pakistan. I feel blessed that all my education, PhD doctorate, master's degrees, NLP coachings are at work here. And yes, Hungarian-born and US-educated girl living in Asia now, and who is glad to contribute to society on a level she never imagined before, and working for humanity. So thank you, Pakistan. So I'd like to invite you to be my friend on Facebook. If you come on drju.com, the Facebook sign is there. Click, please be my friend, stay in touch so we can continue growing together. So I was asked to be very punctual, even though we are 15 minutes late. I will actually do that to make sure that we accompany everything. So I would like to bring you, as I said, an experience which goes A to Z. So if you are here in the beginning, you're going to have a full set of the experience, and it's hard to talk about it, we will just actually do it. And after that, we're going to continue with our experiences, one after another. So hopefully it will be a nice surprise for all of you, and you go home with wonderful basket full of experiences today. So, to begin our experience, I would like to ask you, I'm playing you another video, and watch and see everything you can see what your eyes can pick up. Is it okay? Cool. Now, those of you who have some glassy eyes wondering that she's crazy, what is she talking about? Good. That's a good place to begin, because yes, I am going to do one thing, pushing your buttons of your mind. And if you think that I am really crazy, then just say, okay, okay, she's just doing her job, okay? So, good. So let's see who you see, Tokyo, or you see that big windmill, or you see both, I don't know. You see a head face down, or you see people sitting around a hump. marketplace looks like. And they have two sales guys, and sales guy he goes out and he starts crying and calls the boss back and says, "Boss, you're not gonna believe that. We're not gonna sell any shoes here because these people don't wear shoes." With that, he hangs up, takes the next flight home, and the next guy gets the chance to go. He is putting up an incredible smile on his face, calls the boss and says, "Boss, you are not gonna believe what gemstone I found. These people don't wear shoes yet." Now, how is it possible that one guy goes over there and sees zero possibility? Second guy goes over there, sees a world of possibilities. How is that possible? We are all think differently. How? Why? Who made you think differently?
It's a lot to do with our conditioning.
Thank you. It's a lot to do with our conditioning. So on that point, I like to continue. And as I said, I will be pushing your buttons left and right and test your mind. What do you see? A love-making couple in a bottle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you know that children under 8 years of age, they only see 9 dolphins? Now, I have no idea what happened to you from 8 years of age until now. So, how many of you can see the 9 dolphins? Hands up. Anybody can see? Come on up, please, and show them the 9 dolphins. Think of the conditioning. So, where are the dolphins? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Down below.
Let's start from the bottom again. Yes. Yes, and one more. Let's go. Yes, in the middle, a little more. Very good. So, incredible. What are you looking at? You've been looking at the pictures, the white spots. Kids are looking at the black spots. And it is exactly the same picture, hence is interpreted completely differently based upon our conditioning. Same picture, same thing, hence 2 different experiences. And with that, I like to bug your brain a little bit more and just to bring it into a little awareness. What is our life in today? And believe it or not, that your own reality, which I have no idea what's your reality, but you will know what your reality is by what you're gonna be watching, what you're gonna be seeing, what you're gonna be reading, what you're gonna be hearing, who you're gonna be listening to, what are you gonna be thinking, and what are you gonna be feeling out of those. So this is your reality. And I have no idea what your reality is, I only know what's mine. We know that can change second to second. Reality. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you thinking? And what are you feeling? These 4 things. Ladies and gentlemen, as hard as it is to believe it, that between 0 to 7 years of our lives, we are all conditioned. We all installed. And that installment comes in all different ways, shapes and forms, and on the end of my session actually is going to make all sense to you why we are so hot and heavy about we must see everything objectively instead of interpreting it in a way as we were conditioned. Because I have no idea how you've been conditioned. The only thing I know how I was conditioned, and luckily, the way I was conditioned this side made me today to stand here and be a coach and help people getting up from the hardest of their lives. Because they say that in order to be a good coach, there is one prerequisite for you. Pain. So would we agree that basically these are all sorts of kinds of forms of pain for most people? Right? Okay, so what about here? How would you feel to be in any of these pictures? Pain? Okay. So let me just hear a little story. So here is our friend here. He has a gun, but he got an assignment. He goes into an auditorium, kills 50 people, goes home, puts his feet up, turns on his television, takes popcorn out, picks up the phone, calls the boss, job done. Puts a smile, hands up, continue watching the television. Whose pain was that? Whose pain was that? Not his, so then whose pain was that? The families, whoever stayed behind. Okay, now let's just stop for a moment here and think. Now, how do you think a person had to be conditioned in order to do something like that? You don't have to answer because I'm sure you can imagine what kind of a conditioning you have to go through that he doesn't feel pain. So now, as a second thought now, do you know, if you went through that conditioning, that guy would be you. Now, don't you just put your two hands together and say your grace to Almighty God that it's not you. And now do you know that it's not only your responsibility, that it is your duty to filter what comes into here. What do you allow the next generation to have in their head? And make sure that what you want them to have there, they should have it. And don't allow other people to install things in it. Now, do we know now why we need really high quality active parenting and schools which will allow the children to grow into active citizens and form society, what we are seeing to flourish? Why do we give other people a chance? So, we are not always so sad, but we just have to look at a little bit of things which we are most afraid of. And by that time, actually, I got a middle name from my sessions, and that is called Panadol. And you know why? Because I help you to actually look at your pain and make it go away. Because once we realize that your pain is also installed you and conditioned inside you, because you just had a bunch of bad experiences as you grew up. And once you had that, and you start anticipating the pain. Now I'm just talking in generalization, and some of you are shaking your head. You know exactly how it specifically looks like in your life. And once that happens is, you don't have to do anything. You sit home depressed and you're just imagining that the whole life is so bad outside that you should never ever leave your house. Perception. Where is objectivity? Now, on that thought, I have a toothache. Can you feel my toothache? No, why not? That's it, it's my toothache, right? So pain is very highly subjective. Now, my first point of entry to the United States and emigrating, I was a nanny. And I was taking care of two girls. And one of them, which was 5 years old, she could produce flu symptoms in 30 minutes to get the parents home. And she succeeded every single time. And she meets the parents, they were home in half an hour. The power of the mind. Now, I have no idea how many people you know, what kind of mental state they are, that they are already making themselves emotional background. And what we found is that the biggest pain, what people put inside them and live by them, is actually their own self-limitations. And these self-limitations comes from three major beliefs. That there is no help, there is no hope, and I am worthless. Now I don't know whichever you have, or your family have, or whoever have, or whichever combination, but for sure, in every kind of negative performance, you will find a root cause, or an illness, or a fear of these three things. Now, do you make sure that your children grow up and they don't have these? I don't know. Did your parents make you grow up like that? Highly likely not. They never knew how to do that. At least my parents never did. Thank God I had sports. How many of you have this little voice talking in your head non-stop? Thank you for putting your hands up, great. I know all of you have, because we all have. We are all conditioned. And once you are conditioned, this is actually a state, how we live. We have excessive thinking. And once we have that, we need to take an unconscious rest. And these are the forms of unconscious rest we are taking. And you guys are happily living in Karachi. I'm sure you are not Lahorians, because in Lahore people go out for lunch and talk about what's for dinner. Right? Karachi people are not like that for sure. So what I found, most people find that they can break that unconscious chatter with something, at least for a little bit, until that returns back again and it keeps you talking. Now let's turn the page into a little more fun, because as we know, everything you do in your life will be actually governed by these two things: what you believe or you interpret as pain, or you interpret as pleasure. Because this is the two spectrum, or the two extents you be traveling in between. You won't do something because it is painful, and you will be doing something because it's interpreted as pleasure. So I put up a few pictures here, which by my perception, right, remember these are my interpretations, could be pleasure for me and maybe for some of you. So my brother loves fishing and I can't stand the thing, but he finds great pleasure in there. And there are all sorts of pictures here: gardening, cooking, listening to music, working. And then we have all kinds of things in pictures here. And now, let me ask you the question. You see this picture, for example, this one here. How many of you think it's pleasurable? Okay, this is pretty good. Great. So let me interview you. How many of you exercise on a regular basis? Excuse me? On a regular basis, 3-4 times a week. So you feel you need to do it. Yeah? So those of you who do it, may I ask you why you do it? How do you feel when you do it?
Yoga relaxes.
Excuse me?
Yoga relaxes.
Yoga relaxes me. Anybody else who's exercising would like to share why you do it? How do you feel after? Feel fit. Very good.
In the morning and I feel fit and fresh. Good state to work.
Good state to work. Very good. Anybody would like to share why you exercise?
I was happier.
What is it? Constant source of self-improvement.
I feel happier, energetic.
I feel happier and energetic. As an exercise. Very good. Oh! Why not?
Stressful time.
Stressful time. So, those of you who don't exercise, if I was going to ask you, it says stressful good excuses? Very lazy. Thank you for actually saying that. It's a very good step for change. Anybody else would like to share? No motivation. Thank you. So, can't you just see this, what's happening here? Let's put this on the scale of pain and pleasure. Because those who exercise, they interpret the picture of exercise as pleasure. Those of you who interpret it as pain, you definitely won't do it. And for sure you won't make time for that because it's so painful and it's even more stress to do that. And there is no motivation for it because I never tried it and I never got to the point to actually feel good. Because we know that everything is you have to go through a certain amount of time to feel that way, right? You regularly exercise for years, probably or a few months already, to feel that way. Is that right? So what happens after the first exercise session normally? How do you feel? Hurt, muscle soreness. So if you believe that this is how you're going to feel day after day, are you going to ever go back and exercise? No way. Only if you know that it won't last. Now, this is a good point to actually work on and keep going on. So I put a little more things here because you should take a piece of paper or your phone or whatever it is, your electronics, and make a list. What do you interpret as pleasure to do in your life? And don't stop until you write into your 20 things, because you're supposed to have a list. What you can do as you interpret as pleasure without eating, drinking, and spending money. Because, believe me, when boredom hits, you don't have the list, you fall back and you just go and eat. And you go and meditate in front of the fridge what to eat. Right? Very common syndrome. Yes, I know. Until you have the bell there. So pleasure basically nothing else but is perception. And once you have a lot of these, you start imagining. There's a lot of people whose life right here, right now is so painfully interpreted that they escape somewhere. Do you know what these people look like? How do they look like in a class? Right? And they have a laptop, Facebook open. They should be writing a report for me, but they don't. So, why? Because writing a report is basically they are avoiding temporarily something which is so painful. So don't you realize that when people don't show up on the time when they're supposed to show up, they don't want to. It's painful. Now, instead of scolding them, why shouldn't you just ask the question, Sona, may I ask you to find out what was it so painful or fearful in there why you didn't show up? I'm sure you are going to have a good explanation from that person. So people will not show up if they didn't want to. Things will not happen, not meant to. So stop being angry about it. There's nothing you can do unless you look into the human. And avoiding pain in Pakistan is one of the greatest things. And it bugs me a lot because people just can't say no. Because you culture not to say no because it's disrespectful. Now, after you can't say no, you bring in a whole bunch of avalanche of pain as a consequence of unable to say no first. Now, how does it look like? It looks like you can't say no to mom and you end up in an accounting job which you hate and you become an investment banker, then you get diabetes, then you get cancer and a stroke and Moms, do we need to control the kids so much? Why can't they choose and be happy? Who is trusting who? Who doesn't trust who? I don't know. But I found an awful lot of pretension, an awful lot of procrastination all because of that. And I know every time I go and I do a session like this is my signature session actually, to awaken people, and I do this by 1,000 people all the time and mostly youth. And I look at them. They are all lost. Eyes hazy. But their heart is open and it's bright and they are crying for help. So what do we do for them? We have 65% of the population under 25 years of age. Are we going to let them have hazy eyes, or we help them to have direction with good leadership? I don't know. I'm not asking you questions. Remember to plug your brain. Don't answer, please. Now, would you like to have actually an experience? What is the difference between pain or pleasure? Or is there a difference?
What you like and
What you like and what you dislike. Okay, so remember I come from science. I just don't believe things. I have to actually prove it by science. So, I actually looked it up, and by science, looking into the universal little particles, what we are made out of, a feeling is actually nothing else but a vibration of our atoms in our body. We vibrate differently than the chair, because if we would vibrate like a chair, we would be the chair. But we don't, right? So what we are saying is, shall we agree that a feeling is nothing which is inside us, based on this knowledge that everything is based on our vibration of our atoms, is basically a sensation or a vibration. Would you agree to that? So now, no, okay. Great, well thank you for saying that. So I would like to actually invite you for an experience, because it's very hard to do it without actually experiencing what that is. So now remember, I'm pretty crazy and I make people to do crazy things. I asked for a chair. It's not here, but that's okay, we use this. I will sit here with you, but first I'll stand and show you something. May I borrow your hands for you? Are you looking at me? I see eyes. What on earth she wants to do? Great. So now I give you a little reasoning, because it has to make sense to you. Why are we doing this? Now I have a box of chocolate here, and I'm eating it very happily, and I love it. Now I'm describing to you how my chocolate tastes. Now, do you know how my chocolate? No. Why not? Oh, I never gave it to you. All right. So would you like to taste? Have a bite of my chocolate? Sure. So the exercise is like that. I'm bringing you a bite of the chocolate, which I know you don't know yet. Cool? Now this is why I'm borrowing your hands for you. Great? Makes sense now? So good. Now put one of your hands on the top of your other hand. Now remember, I'm crazy. Now caress the top of your hand. Now how does it feel? Is it pain or pleasure? Which one comes to bring? Pleasure? Okay, do you want some more? Now don't laugh, this is how addiction forms, okay? Now take your hands away and watch the skin underneath with your mind's eye. Your only job is to sit back, breathe, and watch the skin. How is that? Is that feeling still there? Still there, or you may find it's disappearing now. Not there. There? Not there. Gone. Gone? Not gone. It's still there. Very good. But we are very patient people in Pakistan, right? And on Earthians, we can just sit, breathe patiently, and wait, and watch, and observe things objectively. positively. What is happening? Now, do we find that now it disappeared for everyone now? Very good. Now, take your hand, put it on the top of your other hand, and pinch really hard. Go ahead, pinch really hard. How does it feel? Painful. For everyone, is like painful? Good. Now, take it away. Sit, breathe, and observe. How long does that sensation last? So you sit, breathe, and observe. Is it still there? Good. You sit, breathe, relax, observe. Is it still there, or you may find it's going away now? Is it the same intensity as before? No. Okay, we are very earthy and people, very patient. We sit back and breathe. Is it still there the same way, or we may find that it's disappeared? Disappeared. Now, what did we learn here?
Pain lasts long.
But eventually goes away. So everything in life is temporary. Now, should you get addicted to something which no, it's pleasure now, but you know it'll be gone. And should you get bogged down by something which may be a little bit painful now, but by the time I said now, the intensity is much less. Does it make sense to do that? Good. So, the next exercise is even more crazier. So I like to invite you to put your things on the floor so your lap is all free. So I'm going to take a seat with you. Because what we are going to do now is, maybe I show you standing up and then it's easier that way. What we are going to do now is resembling life in a funny different way through movement, and I like to show you this feeling stuff and how it's like. Is it okay? Good. So you take one of your hands, it goes on one of your thighs, and the other one is on the other of your thigh. You're gonna caress one of your thigh, and you're gonna pinch really hard the other one. Go ahead. Close your eyes and shift your focus from the pinch to the caress. Go ahead. Shift the focus. Shift the focus. Hard to shift, I know, but in life, every day is like that. Now take your hands away. You feel your legs. Stand up, please. Stand up now. Stand up right now. Please, stand up right now. Very good, very good. Sit down. Thank you so much. Very good. Now you sit down. I told you I'm crazy. Stand up, please. Very good, Fajcsak. Sit down, please. Very good. I told you I'm crazy. Number 3, stand up, please. Meherbani. Sit down, please. And give yourself a breath. By the way, how is your leg? Is that pinch still there? No! What did we just do? We diverted, but we did one specific thing. What was that? We exercised. We exercised. So one of that standing up would be called a movement. Right? So let me put that vertical exercise into a horizontal level. Right? So I go this way. So would we agree that standing up one time was actually taking one step? Now, am I at the same position where I was before when the initial pain was? No. We still felt it, right? But much less intensity. So then we made ourselves to do another step. We had to really hardly focus on to make ourselves stand up. 2 steps away. How is the intensity of the pain? Same or much less? And then we took a 3rd step, where we stood up a third time. And basically, you might found that that pain there is not there anymore. So if I was going to ask you, keep standing up and sitting down, it would have been so easy just to keep walking. Now why is that? That we need to keep moving. You focus on it.
Put it behind you.
Put it behind you. So what does it mean you're putting a distance away from that feeling? Exercise interrupts feelings. Changes your feeling into a feeling where you want to actually be. Now do you know that when you feel bored and when you feel lazy, what is it called for? So, would you like to actually try? Show me how you are when you are lazy. Sit in a chair, slouch, same way. Everybody can do that? Show me how you slouch. Slouch, yeah, go ahead, slouch, slouch. We have to train ourselves for that slouch. Good, good, good. So, you put yourself in a state of mind, you are slouching. I'm so bored out of my mind. And she's talking all this nonsense. So what does it go for? Stand up now! Stand up now! Stand up now! Make yourself stand up! It's really crazy. Sit down. You see, we change physiology in a split step like that. So what do you do to the guy sitting on a laptop? He should be writing a report, right? In an imaginary world, and you catch him. What should you do?
Give him pain.
Give him pain, alright. What kind of pain? 20 push-ups, very good. You see, interrupt physiology. Interrupt physiology. Now, if you can train yourself for that and switch your view about movement and exercise and use it for your own good to actually accomplish things. I just ask you to stand up 3 times and your physiology, your happiness, your everything changed. Now you don't have time to stand up 3 times from a chair. I'm just checking, just messing with you here, right? Because we all think that we have to do so many beautiful things, right, to get this effect. Not really. Lots of small little things can lead you, then you decide that, you know what, I'm waking up in the morning, half an hour earlier, and I'm going to go out and exercise. Half an hour, see you later. That's how it's going to happen, because the more good feelings you have accumulated, the more it's going to say that, you know what, why I am running, my brain is solving problems in the office. And I get off the treadmill, and you know what, I have 5 new ideas. And I'm really stuck. You know what, I close my office door, and I'm going to the gym. But I'm going to go out for a walk, because I know when I empty my head, and I want to move, my brain is going to get a break, and I'm going to get the solutions. So what will happen is, your 8-hour, 12-hour, 16-hour workday will decrease significantly because of how effective your brain is going to work. Now, you can only experience this if you actually live like this. So, I must keep track of time. There is something I need to experience with you. You asked for a prayer break, I guess that's what it is. So, we may take it now, and then please come back. Is that okay? Okay, thank you.